Hey, Keith just sent this in. This is a project we have had here for several months now. We're fixing to get this going. I was waiting on this part. Now I don't have an excuse. I got to get it done. For those that are familiar with Andrew Alexander of Blacksmith Tools in Dallas, this is something he's got to get done. And it just so happens it's for my buddy Alexander Vitorsky up in Pennsylvania. Well, he moved, so I don't know if he's still in Pennsylvania. I think he still is. But if you want to look up both of these guys' channels on Instagram, Andrew Alexander is Blacksmith Tools. Alexander Vitorsky is Vice for Vices. And he's got a neat selection of stuff as well. Alex was also the customer of mine that commissioned the Axial cast iron signs several years ago that I had cast here. I think we produced 30 in all. They were serialized. Keith Rucker printed this pattern. Look at that. That is an amazing finish. I'm not going to have any trouble at all with this. It is a split pattern. And the way this works is these wheels, you would have two of them that go on each side of this hub here. And when I first saw this, I was thinking, oh no, they wore into that, and Keith probably thought that was the way it came. Well, Keith reassured me that's the way it was cast. I guess that gets machined quite a bit here, because that hub, unless this is going like that. That's probably, yeah, that makes more sense. Okay, I wire wheeled this pretty good. It had a lot of trash or collected dust over 100 years in it. And now I've got to make a plug that's going to lay over that hole. I'm going to shim it out there, probably give them 100 thousandths or a 1/8 inch thickness if I can find something. Okay, so we just puttied up that hole. I'm going to run down to the cafe, grab a bite to eat. When I get back, that should be hard enough to go ahead and sand. I'll whittle it down on a knife blade, and then I can sand it on down from there. With some of the casting imperfections we're going to have here, I'm not too worried about how that's going to look. And we've got flashing here that is from the original casting. They didn't grind out. I'll leave this just the way it was. But I got a cap for this side and the other side. Alright, we'll come back to this shortly. I've already made one of the wheel, and what we'll do next week, possibly, I'll show you how I molded that. It's a little more complicated than this piece is going to be. Now, we're doing test pieces. I'm going to cast one of these and one of the wheel. I'm going to pour those with the other molds I have on the conveyor tonight. And if these turn out okay, then I will roll with them and show you more on this next week with the wheels. If you happen to be in the Meridian, Mississippi area next week, September the 18th and the 19th, which is on a Saturday and Sunday, I welcome you, especially if you have kids or grandkids, to drop by the Mississippi Industrial Heritage Museum. For those of you that don't know, I do demonstrations there twice a year showing the art of iron casting in person. And I let people have a hands-on experience with the sand molds. I will be there from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday and 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Sunday. It is the old Soule Steam Feed Works in Meridian, Mississippi. You can see the turn-of-the-century foundry and machine shop as it was in the very early 1900s. It is the Meridian Makers Fair, and they're going to have all kinds of stuff from tech design, art, drones, laser engraving, soldering class, that's something I would be interested in, and the forging demonstration, along with mechanical music instrument. The weekend after that, my wife and I are taking the white suspicious van, hooking up to a trailer, and going to Manassas, Virginia to pick up some equipment. Let's dry this out. Let's put some dust on this. Only purpose of this is, I mean, the finish is beautiful. It's got nothing to do with the finish on these castings. It's got everything to do with drying the humidity out, the condensation that can accumulate on these. That ought to work. But yeah, we got to go to Manassas, which is just outside of Washington, D.C. While we're up there, if we didn't have to drag that trailer, I would love to see some sights, and we may still do it. Alright, so I want to tell you guys, you're going to see me dropping a lot of weight over the next year. There's nothing wrong. I've done this before. That's the way I have to do it. And it takes a while. I'm getting tired of my wife fussing at me. I'm not going to get on any kind of meds, not when I can lose weight and do something about it. If you want to join me, you're more than welcome. If you live in the northern states, you won't have as much to deal with as I will, because down here in the south we have this stuff we put on our food called seasoning, and oh man, it's so good. So anyway, just to let you know, I'm not sick or anything like that. If you notice, I'm a little slimmer next year. But it takes a little over a year to drop a significant amount of weight. You try to do that anytime sooner than that, it's not healthy, it's not good for you. Also, I have been asked about merchandise, and I've got a lot of things that I wanted to make to put up as merchandise. I don't have the time. I really don't. As you guys know, I stay backed up all the time. I started looking into other options. Teespring is the easiest route to go. They handle everything. The problem with Teespring is the quality of their clothing is not the best. That does not reflect who I am. I'm talking with a company here in Jackson that does embroidery work and screen printing, getting a quote on some hats. So if you are interested, I'm going to put them on my website. These are not cheap hats though. They're the same quality as this. They got, now this is what they call waxed. It's not wax, but it is cloth hats with the cloth strap in the back. I want to have a pretty cool insignia on there along with my logos. If you're interested in one, let me know, and that'll give me an idea how many to go ahead and pre-order. They do 24 at a time, so I'm going to go ahead and order 48. I won't know the price on that until it's a done deal. I'll announce that later. But yeah, like I said, if you're interested, I've had people request info on merchandise in the past that I just don't have time to put out there. But this, I'm willing to ship from here. I don't mind doing that. We're already set up for that anyway. At this point, I don't have anything that's for sale that's under 50 bucks. And that was what the question was. Do you have anything that you would probably sell more of? Well, I can do the hats, but they're not made here. They are embroidered here in Mississippi. I think they're made in Arkansas. But I'm kind of excited about it. I've never designed my own hat before, so I want it to be the coolest hat out there. T-shirts, the reason I'm not doing that right now, it's so easy to do on Teespring because you don't have to worry about keeping so many sizes on hand. They just make it as it's ordered to that size. But a hat that fits all is easy enough for me to keep up with. And let's face it, most of my viewers, according to my analytics, are those that don't have much hair on the top of their head like myself. I think they'd be more interested in a hat than they would be a t-shirt. That is one half. And also, if you're new to this channel and you're wanting to know what material I use for my flask, they're grade A charcoal. I see something I already forgot to do. I forgot to put a pull hole in this material. Now my center of gravity is right here, and that's where I want to put my pull hole. Just one pull hole, that's it. Right there. So let's put a mark on it. As you can see, that's my center of gravity. I just place my finger under there and support it until it balances out, and that's my center of gravity. And go ahead and put a drilled hole right here before I go any farther. Actually, We won't worry about that. We'll go ahead and assemble it first. I'll worry about that after we get this made because my sand's going to be drying out while I'm playing around with that. Let's dust this piece. I never told y'all, but when I was growing up, we had 2 big chicken houses, you know, thousands of chickens per house. And because of that experience, I went 20 years where I didn't eat chicken. I saw some very traumatizing things going on in that chicken house. Stuff I'm not even going to discuss to this day. If you knew, you wouldn't touch the mess. Chickens are by far the most disgusting, nasty. We're going to put a riser right here. Right there. I went 20 years without, I would not eat chicken. I can't stand the mess. I used to love it. I used to eat it fried all the time. I mean, who hasn't eaten good fried chicken? Well, when I get on this diet, my wife is pretty good about making very healthy meals, low-carb meals at home. And the way this diet works is you drink nothing but water, morning, noon, and night. And you know, I did it for 1.5 years, 2 years, and I lived through it just fine. It's not hard to do once you get used to it. But there would be days when it didn't work out where my wife could be home to cook. The only other option is chicken salad. And I mean, it's easy enough to eat, right? If you like chicken, but I hate the mess. You know, why couldn't it be a steak diet? And I'll tell you what got me off of my diet to begin with. It's all Stan Zinkowski's fault. One of the things about drinking water all the time is I'm avoiding caffeine and sugars and all that. And aspartame. You know, that's a big thing. They like to pump aspartame into everything. We went to Barzy Industrial's Bash, and Stan had Sprite. And I kept thinking, you know, everybody's enjoying themselves. I mean, we're on vacation, right? It's okay to break traditions once. So I did. I got me a Sprite. I was going, man, that's good. That is delicious. I forgot how good a Sprite is. We get home. A couple days later, I'm still thinking about how good that Sprite was. Well, I got me another one. And, you know, I did pretty good. I'd get one about every 3rd or 4th day, and then I'd get right back on my water. Then we had the Good of the Land Fest. Well, Stan was there. As he and Ray were getting ready to check out of the motel room, Stan had just bought a whole case of Sprite. And he said, hey, you want this? I took it. That's it. That's what happened. Ever since then, I started drinking Sprite, started putting on pounds. I'm thinking, well, I gained a pound here or 2. May as well eat something I enjoy to make up, to justify it, right? Thanks, Stan. It's not easy, but, you know, I mean, you got options, you can die, right? We're not designed to eat the stuff that is served to us at most of these joints on the road, you know what? The funny thing is, the government knows that too. How that didn't make a bunch of racket in the Mueller, I don't know. Hope that wasn't part of my Mueller. Gotta drill a little hole right there. Looks good. Put just a little parting agent in it. I'm going to make this Go a little deep. Now on our cope, we're going to cut over the parting line and enter the side of that riser. As I've explained on other videos, any possible trash that might wash down through there is going to get captured in the dome of this riser. So it serves as two purposes. I don't know what's wrong with my airline. It hasn't been shooting water out for about a week. I'm just cleaning out that ledge that formed here, and I'm going to have a little crumble right there. I'm not worried about that. Actually, no, it stayed in place. Looks good. Alright, so let's cut our pouring basin and put it together. I do this first to establish my diameter, how big I want the basin, and then I go straight in and chase the side walls down perpendicular to that diameter that I scratched in there. Just taking little bitty chops. Alright. I'm not going to be doing a pour and showing you a casting after all. Didn't work out that way. I can tell when I don't need to do a pour. I'm not going to do this under pressure and screw up a bunch of molds. Can't do that. I'm not making any money when I do it like that. So with that said, I'm going to cut this video here. Next week I'll try to have all the wheels and all three to show you. I'm going to show you the molding process I'm going to do with the wheels. We're going to use false drag for that method. And also, as I said earlier, next week we are going to be in Meridian, Mississippi, next weekend, Saturday and Sunday. If you've never seen the place, it's worth a trip out. And you know, if you got kids, grandkids, bring them along. There's plenty for everybody to see there. I'm attaching two videos that Adam Booth did several years ago on the Soule Steam Feed Works, and he covers both the old foundry building along with the pattern shop and then the machine shop along with all the old machinery there. It's a very detailed video. I suggest you check it out if you haven't already seen it. And but that's where we're going to be this weekend, and we're going to be back out there in November for the Steam Festival. So which that's where they got all the some pretty cool stuff being brought in as far as steam engines from all over the country. I guess I'm going to go ahead and tie this up now, get to editing where I can get to bed a little early tonight, and I'll have this posted tomorrow. I hope y'all have a good week. Stay safe. And Dollar wants to say hi. She is dying. She is whining and crying over there. Josie's not here this week. She's gone. Matter of fact, she'll be gone up till Thursday or Friday of next week. So we got it on our own, don't we, Dollar? Dollar, say hi. You were out there, you were whining and crying. Now come on, say something. Say something. Come on. Come on. You're getting nasty. All right. Well, we will see you next week.
Next
You're not gonna eat it? Go ahead and try some, Emma. It's good.